The Book of the Dead, Part 2, Chapter 15. A Hymn to the Setting Sun. Another chapter of the mystery of the Tuat underworld, and of passing through the unseen netherworld, and of seeing the disk when he setteth in Amentet, when he is adored by the gods, and by the Kus in the underworld, and when the soul which dwelleth in Ra is made perfect, he is made mighty before Tem, he is made great before Osiris, he setteth his terror before the company of the gods, who are the guides of the netherworld. He maketh long bits missing his steps, and he maketh his face to enter bits missing with that of the great God. Now every coup for whom these words shall have been said shall come forth by day in any form which he is pleased to take. He shall gain power among the gods of the Tuat underworld, and they shall recognize him as one of themselves, and he shall enter in at the hidden gate with power. The lady Mut-Hetep victorious singeth hymns of praise to thee, saying, O Ra-Tem, in thy splendid progress thou risest and thou settest as a living being. In the glories of the western horizon thou settest in thy territory which is in Manu. Thy race is behind thee. Thy race is behind thee. Homage to thee, O thou who art in peace. Homage to thee, O thou who art in peace. Thou art joined unto the eye of Tem, and it choseth its power of protection to place behind thy members. Thou goest forth through heaven, and thou travellest over the earth, and thou journeyest onward. O luminary, the northern and southern halves of heaven come to thee, and they bow low in adoration, and they pay homage unto thee day by day. The gods of Amentet rejoice in thy beauties, and the unseen places sing hymns of praise unto thee. Those who dwell in the Sektet boat go round about thee, and the souls of the east pay homage to thee. And when they meet thy majesty, they cry, Come, come in peace. There is a shout of welcome to thee. O Lord of heaven and Governor of Amentet, thou art acknowledged by Isis, who seeth her son in thee, the Lord of fear, the mighty one of terror. Thou settest as a living being in the hidden place. Thy father, Tartun, raiseth thee up, and he placeth both his hands behind thee. Thou becomest endowed with divine attributes in thy members of earth. Thou wakest in peace, and thou settest in Manu. Grant thou that I may become a being honoured before Osiris, and that I may come to thee, O Ra-Tem. I have adored thee. Therefore do thou for me that which I wish. Grant thou that I may be victorious in the presence of the company of the gods. Thou art beautiful, O Ra, in thy western horizon of Amentet. Thou Lord of Muat, thou mighty one of fear, thou whose attributes are majestic. O thou who art greatly beloved by those who dwell in the Tuat, the underworld, thou shinest with thy beams upon the beings that are therein perpetually, and thou sendest forth thy light upon the path of Rastuel. Thou openest up the path of the double-lying God. Thou settest the gods upon their thrones and the Kus in their abiding places. The heart of Nerefri is glad when Ra setteth the heart of Neref is glad when Ra setteth. Hail, O ye gods of the land of Amentet, who make offerings and obligations unto Ra-Tem. Ascribe ye glory unto him when ye meet him. Grasp ye your weapons, and overthrow ye the fiend Seba on behalf of Ra, and repulse the fiend Net on behalf of Osiris. The gods of the land of Amentet rejoice, and lay hold upon the cords of the Sektet boat, and they come in peace. The gods of the hidden place, who dwell in Amentet, triumph. Hail, Thoth, who didst make Osiris to triumph over his enemies. Make thou Mut-hetep victorious to triumph over her enemies. In the presence of the great divine sovereign chiefs who live with Osiris, the Lord of life, the great God who dwelleth in his disk, come forth, that is Horus, the avenger of his father, Unifer-Ra. Osiris, Seteth, and the Ku, who are in the Tuat underworld, say, Homage to thee, O thou who comest as Tem, and who comest into being as the creator of the gods. Homage to thee, O thou who comest as the holy soul of souls, who dwellest in the horizon. Homage to thee, who art more glorious than all the gods, and who illuminest the Tuat with thine eye. Homage to thee, who sailest in thy glory, and who goest round about in thy disk. A hymn to the setting sun. Another chapter of the mystery of the Tuat, and of traversing the unseen places of the underworld. of seeing the disk when he setteth in Amentet, when he is adored by the gods and by the Kus of the Tuat, and when the divine Ku, which dwelleth within Ra, is made perfect, he setteth his might before Ra, he setteth his power before Tem, he setteth his strength before Kehenti Amentet, and he setteth his terror before the company of the gods. The Osiris of the gods goeth as leader through the Tuat. He crasheth through mountains. He bursteth through rocks. He maketh glad, bits missing, the heart of every Ku. This composition shall be recited by the deceased when he cometh forth, and when he goeth in with the gods, among whom he findeth no opposition. Then shall he come forth by day in all the manifold and exceedingly numerous forms which he may be pleased to take. The Osiris, bits missing, saith, a hymn of praise to Ra at eventide, when he setteth as a living being in Bahaka, the great God, who dwelleth in his disk, riseth in his two eyes, and all the Kus of the underworld receive him in his horizon of Amentet. They shout praises unto Heru-Keti, Hamachis, in his form of Tem, and they sing hymns of joy to Ra when they have received him at the head of his beautiful path of Amentet. He, the deceased, saith, praise be unto thee, O Ra. Praise be unto thee, O Tem, in thy splendid progress. Thou hast risen, and thou hast put on strength, and thou settest like a living being amid thy glories in the horizon of Amentet, in thy domain, which is in Manu. The Urias God is behind thee. Thy Urias God is behind thee. Hail to thee in peace. Hail to thee in peace. Thou joinest thyself unto the eye of Horus, and thou hiddest thyself within its secret place. It destroyeth for thee all the convulsions of thy face. It maketh thee strong with life, and thou livest. It bindeth its protecting amulets behind thy members. Thou sailest forth over heaven, and thou makest the earth to be stablished. Thou joinest thyself unto the upper heaven, O luminary. The two regions of the east and the west make adoration unto thee, bowing low and paying homage unto thee, and they praise thee day by day. The gods of Amentet rejoice in thy splendid beauties. The hidden places adore thee. The aged ones make offerings unto thee. And they create for thee protecting powers. The divine beings who dwell in the eastern and western horizons transport thee. And those who are in the Sektet boat convoy thee round and about. The souls of Amentet cry out unto thee, and say unto thee, when they meet thy majesty, life, health, strength, all hail, all hail. When thou comest forth in peace, there arise shouts of delight to thee. O thou Lord of heaven, thou Prince of Amentet, thy mother Isis embraceth thee, and in thee she recogniseth her son, the Lord of fear, the mighty one of terror. Thou settest as a living being within the dark portal. Thy father Tuathanan lifteth thee up, and he stretcheth out his two hands behind thee. Thou becomest a divine being in the earth. Thou wakest as thou settest, and thy habitation is in Manu. Grant thou that I may be venerated before Osiris, and come thou to me, O Ra-Tem, since thou hast been adored by me. That which I wish thou shalt do for me day by day. Grant thou victory unto me before the great company of the gods, O Ra, who art doubly beautiful in thy horizon of Amentet. Thou Lord of Muat, who dwellest in the horizon, the fear of thee is great, thy forms are majestic, and the love of thee is great among those who dwell in the underworld. A hymn to the setting sun. A hymn of praise to Raharu, Kuiti, Ra Hamanchis, when he setteth in the western part of heaven. He, the deceased, saith, homage to thee, O Ra, who is in thy setting art. Tem Haru Kuiti, Tem Hamakis, thou divine God, thou self-created being, thou primeval matter, from which all things were made, when thou appearest in the boughs of thy bark, men shout for joy at thee, O maker of the gods. Thou didst stretch out the heavens wherein thy two eyes might travel. Thou didst make the earth to be a vast chamber for thy kus, so that every man might know his fellow. The Sektet boat is glad, and the Metet boat rejoiceth, and they greet thee with exultation, as thou journeyest along. The god Nu is content, and thy marinas are satisfied. dearest goddess, hath overthrown thine enemies, and thou hast carried off the legs of Apep. Thou art beautiful, O Ra, each day, and thy mother Nut embraceth thee. Thou settest in beauty, and thy heart is glad. In the horizon of Manu, and the holy beings, therein rejoice. Thou shinest there with thy beams, O thou great god Osiris, the everlasting prince, the lord of the zones of the Tuat. In their caverns stretch out their hands in adoration before thy car double, and they cry out to thee, and they all come forth in the train of thy form, shining brilliantly. The hearts of the lords of the Tuat underworld are glad when thou sendest forth thy glorious light in Amentet. Their two eyes are directed towards thee, and they press forward to see thee, and their hearts rejoice when they do see thee. Thou hearkenest unto the acclamations of those that are in the funeral chest. Thou doest away with their helplessness, and drivest away the evils which are about them. Thou givest breath to their nostrils, and they take hold of the boughs of thy bark. In the horizon of Manu, thou art beautiful each day, O Ra, and may thy mother Nut embrace Osiris. Bits missing. Victorious. Chapter 16 is mostly just vignettes and drawings. Chapter 17. Ra, the self-begotten. Here begin the praises and glorifyings of coming out from and of going into the glorious underworld, which is in the beautiful Amentet, of coming out by day in all the forms of existence which please him, the deceased of playing at draughts and sitting in the hall, and of coming forth as a living soul. Saith Osiris, the scribe Ani, after he hath come to his haven of rest: it is good for a man to recite this work whilst he is upon earth. For them all the words of Tem come to pass. I am the god Tem, in rising. I am the only one. I came into existence in Nu. I am Ra, who rose in the beginning, the ruler of, bits missing, this. Who then is this? It is Ra, when at the beginning he rose in the city of Suten Henen, Heracleopolis, Magna, crowned like a king in his rising. The pillars of the god Shu were not as yet created, when he was upon the high ground of him that dwelleth in Kemenu, Hemopolis Magna. I am the great god, who gave birth to himself, even Nu, who made his name to become the company of the gods as God. Who then is this? It is Ra, the creator of the names of his limbs, which came into being in the form of the gods who are in the train of Ra. I am he who is not driven back among the gods. Who then is this? It is Tem, the dweller in his disk, or as others say, it is Ra, in his rising, in the eastern horizon of heaven. I am yesterday, I know today. Who then is this? Yesterday is Osiris, and today is Ra, on the day when he shall destroy the enemies of Neber-Uteker, and when he shall establish as prince and ruler his son, Horus, or as others say, on the day when we commemorate the festival of the meeting of the dead, Osiris, with his father Ra, and when the battle of the gods was fought, in which Osiris, the lord of Mentet, was the leader. What then is this? It is Amentet, that is to say, the creation of the souls of the gods. When Osiris was leader in Set Amentet, or as others say, it is Amentet, which Ra hath given unto me. When any god cometh, he doth arise, and doth battle for it. I know the God who dwelleth therein. Who then is this? It is Osiris, or as others say, Ra is his name, or it is the phallus of Ra, wherewith he was united to himself. I am the Benu bird, which is in Anu, Heliopolis, and I am the keeper of the volume of the book of things which are and of things which shall be. Who then is this? It is Osiris, or as others say, it is his dead body, or as others say, it is his filth. The things which are and the things which shall be are his dead body. Or as others say, they are eternity and everlastingness. Eternity is the day, and everlastingness is the night. I am the God, Amasu, in his coming forth. May his two plumes be set upon my head for me. Who then is this? Amasu is Horus, the avenger of his father, and his coming forth is his birth. The plumes upon his head are Isis and Nephthys, when they go forth to set themselves there, even as his protectors, and they provide that which his head lacketh. Or as others say, they are the two exceeding great Urae, which are upon the head of their father, Tem. Or as others say, his two eyes are the two plumes which are upon his head. Osiris Ani the scribe of all the holy offerings, riseth up in his place in triumph. He cometh into his city. What then is this? It is the horizon of his father Tem. I have made an end of my shortcomings, and I have put away my faults. What then is this? It is the cutting off of the corruptible in the body of Osiris, the scribe Ani, victorious before all the gods, and all his faults are driven out. What then is this? It is the purification of Osiris on the day of his birth. I am purified in my great double nest, which is in the Sutan Hanu, Heracleopolis Magna, on the day of the offerings of the followers of the great God, who is in therein. What then is this? Millions of years is the name of the one nest. Great Green Lake is the name of the other. A pool of natron and a pool of niter, or as others say, the traverser of millions of years, is the name of one. Great Green Lake is the name of the other, or as others say, the begetter of millions of years, is the name of one. Great Green Lake is the name of the other. Now as concerning the great God who dwelleth therein, it is Ra himself. I pass over the way. I know the head of the pool of Muati. What then is this? It is Re-Steru. That is to say, it is the underworld. On the south of Naaratuf, and it is the northern door of the tomb. Now, as concerning the pool of Muati, it is Abutu, Ibidos, or as others say, it is the way by which his father Tem travelleth when he goeth forth to Seketet Aru, which bringeth forth the food and nourishment of the gods who are behind their shrines. Now the gate of Teshetet is the gate of the pillars of Shu, the northern gate of the Tuat underworld, or as others say, it is the two leaves of the door through which the god Tem passeth when he goeth forth to the eastern horizon of heaven. O ye gods, who are in the presence of Osiris, grant me your alms, for I am the God who shall come into being among you. Who then are these? They are the drops of blood which came forth from the phallus of Ra when he went forth to perform mutilation upon himself. They sprang into being as the gods Hu and Sa, who are in the following of Ra and who accompany the god Tem daily and every day. I, Osiris, the scribe Ani, triumphant, have filled for thee the Uchat after it had suffered failure. On the day of the combat of the two fighters, Horus and Set, what then is this? It is the day on which Horus fought with Set, who cast filth in the face of Horus. And when Horus destroyed the members of Set, now this Thoth did with his own fingers. I lift up the hair cloud when there are storms and quakings in the sky. What then is this? It is the right eye of Ra, which raged against Set, when he sent it forth. Thoth raised up the hair cloud, and brought the eye alive and whole, and sound, and without defect to its Lord. Or as others say, it is the eye of Ra, when it is sick, and when it weepeth for its fellow eye, then Thoth standeth up to cleanse it. I behold Ra, who was born yesterday, from the buttocks of the goddess Meheret. His strength is my strength, and my strength is his strength. What then is this? It is the watery abyss of heaven, or as others say, it is the image of the eye of Ra in the morning at his daily birth. Meheret is the eye, Uchat, of Ra. Therefore, Osiris, the scribe Ani, triumphant, is a great one among the gods who are in the train of Horus. The words are spoken for him that loveth his Lord. What then is this? The gods who are in the train of Horus are Mestha, Hapi, Tuamter, and Queb-Hesenfuth. Homage to you, O ye lords of right and truth, ye sovereign princes who stand behind Osiris, who utterly do away with sins and crimes, and who are in the following of the goddess Hetep-Sekas. Grant ye that I may come unto you. Destroy ye all the faults which are within me, even as ye did for the 7 spirits, who are among the followers of their lord Sepa. Anubis appointed their place on the day when was said, Come therefore thither. What then is this? These lords of right and truth are Thoth and Estes, the lord of Amentet, the sovereign princes who stand behind Osiris, even Mestha, Hapi, Tuamtueth, and Queb-Seneth, are they who are behind the thigh in the northern sky. Now those who do utterly away with sins and crimes, and who are in the following of Hetep-Sekas, are the god Sebek and his company who dwell in the water. The goddess Hetep-Sekes is the eye of Ra, or as others say, it is the flame which followeth after Osiris to burn up the souls of his enemies. As concerning all the faults which are in Osiris, the scribe of the offerings of all the gods, Ani, triumphant, this is all that he hath done against the lords of eternity, since he came forth from his mother's womb. As concerning the seven spirits, even Mesthla, Hapi, Tuam Hutef, Kueb Husanef, Muat Tuef, Fikari, Begef, and Herukanti and Muati, Anubis appointed them to be protectors of the dead body of Osiris, or as others say, set them behind the place of purification of Osiris, or as others say, those seven spirits are Netek, Akweteket, Anerta Nefbes Fikenti He, Fug Her Army Unut, Tufertesh, Umati Army, Het Anes, Ubs Hara Per Em Keteteket, and Ma Em Ker and Nef Em Huri, the chief of the sovereign princes, who are in Narat Turf, is Horus, the avenger of his father. As concerning the day upon which was said, come therefore thither, it refereth to the words, come then thither, which Ra spake unto Osiris. Lo, may this be said unto me in Amentet. I am the divine soul, which dwelleth in the divine twin gods. What then is this? It is Osiris, when he goeth into Tatu, and findeth there the soul of Ra. There the one God embraced the other, and divine souls spring into being within the divine twin gods. As concerning the divine twin gods, they are Heru Netech Haratef, and Heru Kent and Moati, or as others say, the double divine soul, which dwelleth in the divine twin gods, is the soul of Ra and the soul of Osiris, or as others say, it is the soul which dwelleth in Shu, and the soul which dwelleth in Tefnut, and these are the double divine soul which dwelleth in Tatu. I am the cat which fought hard by the Persi tree in Anu, Helipolis, on the night when the foes of Neb-Ertiker were destroyed. Who then is this? The male cat is Ra himself, and he is called Mual by reasons of the speech of the god Sa, who said concerning him, he is like Mual unto that which he hath made. Thus his name became Mual, or as others say, it is the god Shu who maketh over the possessions of Seb to Osiris. As concerning the fight hard by the Persu tree, in Anu it concerneth the children of impotent revolt, when justice is wrought on them, for what they have done. As concerning the night of the battle, these words refer to the inroad of the children of impotent revolt into the eastern part of heaven, whereupon there arose a battle in heaven and in all the earth. O thou who art in thine egg, Ra, who shinest from thy disk, and risest in thy horizon, and dost shine like gold above the sky, like unto whom there is none among the gods, who sailest over the pillars of Shu. In the ether, who givest blast of fire from thy mouth, who makest the two lands bright. With thy radiance deliver thou the pious Nebseni from the god whose form is hidden, whose eyebrows are like unto the two arms of the balance on the night of reckoning destruction. Who then is this? It is Anath, the god, who bringeth his arm. As concerning the night of reckoning destruction, it is the night of the burning of the damned, and of the overthrow of the wicked at the block, and of the slaughter of souls. Who then is this? It is Nemu, the headsman of Osiris, or as others say, it is Apep, when he riseth up, with one head bearing Muat, right and truth, upon it. Or as others say, it is Horus, when he riseth up, with a double head, whereof the one beareth right and truth, and the other wickedness. He bestoweth wickedness on him that worketh wickedness, and right and truth upon him that followeth righteousness and truth. Or as others say, it is Horus the Great, who dwelleth in Shechem, Letopolis. Or as others say, it is Thoth. Or as others say, it is Nefertem. Or as others say, it is Set, who doth thwart the axe of the foes of Nebuchadnezzar. Deliver thou the scribe Nebseni, victorious, from the watchers, who bear slaughtering knives, and who have cruel fingers, and who slay those who are in the following of Osiris. May they never gain the mystery over me. May I never fall under their knives. What then is this? It is Anubis, and it is Horus, in the form of Kehent and Muati, or as others say, it is the sovereign princes who thought the works of their weapons. Or as others say, it is the chiefs of the Shishonai chamber. May their knives never gain the mastery over me. May I never fall under their instruments of cruelty. For I know their names, and I know the being Mechet, who is among them, in the house of Osiris, shooting rays of light from his eye, but who himself is unseen. He goeth round about heaven robed in the flame of his mouth, commanding Hapi, but remaining himself unseen. May I be strong upon earth before Ra. May I come happily into heaven in the presence of Osiris. Let not your offerings be wanting to me, O ye who preside over your altars. For I am among those who follow after Nebuchadnezzar, according to the writings of Kephara. I fly as a hawk, I cackle as a goose, I even slay, even as the serpent goddess Nehebka. What then is this? Those who preside over their altars are the similitude of the eye of Ra, and the similitude of the eye of Horus. O Ra, Tem, thou Lord of the great house, thou sovereign life, strength and health, of all the gods, deliver thou the scribe Nebseni victorious. From the god whose face is like unto that of a greyhound, whose brows are as those of a man, and who feedeth upon the dead, who watcheth at the bite of the lake of fire, and who devoureth the bodies of the dead, and swalloweth hearts, and who shooteth forth filth, but he himself remaineth unseen. Who then is this? Devourer for millions of years is his name, and he liveth in the Uat. As concerning the Uat of flame, it is that which is in Anrutuf, hard by the Shenu chamber. The unclean man who would walk thereover doth fall down among the knives, or as others say, his name is Mates, and he is the watcher of the door of Amentet, or as others say, his name is Beba, and it is he who watcheth the bite of Amentet, or as others say, Hariseph is his name. Hail, Lord of Terror, chief of the lands of the north and south, thou Lord of the red glow, or red lands, who preparest the slaughter block, and who dost feed upon the inward parts. Who then is this? The guardian of the bite of Amentet. What then is this? It is the heart of Osiris, which is the devourer of all slaughtered things. The erect crown hath been given unto him with gladness of heart, as Lord of Suten Henen, Heracolopolis Magna. What then is this? He to whom hath been given the erect crown with gladness of heart, as Lord of Suten Henen, is Osiris. He was bidding to rule among the gods on the day of the union of earth, in the presence of Nebuchadnezzar. What then is this? He that was bidden to rule among the gods is Horus, the son of Isis, who was appointed to rule in the place of his father, Osiris. As concerning the day of the union of earth with earth, it is the mingling of earth with earth in the coffin of Osiris. The soul that liveth in Suten Henen, the giver of meat and drink, the destroyer of wrong, and the guide of the everlasting paths. Who then is this? It is Ra himself. Deliver thou the Osiris Nebseni victorious. From the great God, who carrieth away the soul, who eateth hearts, and who feedeth upon offal, the guardian of the darkness, the dweller in the secure boat. Those who live in crime fear him. Who then is this? It is Suti, or as others say, it is Samam the soul of Seb. Hail, Khepra, in thy boat. The twofold company of the gods is thy body. Deliver thou Osiris, Ani, victorious from the watchers, who give judgment, who have been appointed by the god Neb-Ertachar to protect him and to fasten the fetters on his foes, and to slaughter in the shambles. There is no escape from their grasp. May they never stab me with their knives. May I never fall helpless into their chambers of torture. Never have the things which the gods hate been done by me. For I am pure within the Mesquet. Cakes of saffron have been brought unto him in Tenet. Who then is this? It is Khepra in his boat. It is Ra himself. As concerning the watchers who give judgment, they are the apes Isis and Nephthys. As concerning the things which are abominated by the gods, they are wickedness and falsehood. And he who passeth through the place of purification within the Mesquet is Ampu Anubis, who is behind the chest, which containeth the inward parts of Osiris. He to whom saffron cakes have been brought in Tenet is Osiris, or as others say, the saffron cakes in Tenet are heaven and earth, or as others say, they are Shu, strengthener of the two lands in Sutenhenen, Heracleopolis Magna. The saffron cakes are the eye of Horus, and Tenet is the burial place of Osiris. Them hath built thy house, and the double-lying God hath founded thy habitation. Lo, drugs are brought, and Horus pureth, and Set strengtheneth, and Set purieth, and Horus strengtheneth. The Osiris, the scribe Ani, victorious before Osiris, hath come into the land, and he hath taken possession thereof with his 2 feet. He is Tem, and he is in thy city. Turn thou back, O Rahu, whose mouth shineth, whose head moveth. Turn thou back from before his strength, or as others say, turn thou back from him who keepeth watch and is unseen. The Osiris Ani is safely guarded. He is Isis, and he is found with her. Hair spread over him. I shake it out over his brow. He was conceived in Isis and begotten in Nephthys, and they cut off from him the things which should be cut off. Fear followeth after thee, terror is upon thine arms. Thou hast been embraced for millions of years by the arms of the nations. Mortals go round about thee. Thou smitest down the mediators of thy foes, and thou seizest the arms of the power of darkness. The two sisters, Isis and Nephthys, are given to thee for thy delight. Thou hast created that which is in Kher-ahar, and that which is in Anu, Heliopolis. Every god feareth thee, for thou art exceeding great and terrible. Thou avengest every god on the man that curseth him, and thou shootest out arrows, bits missing. Thou livest according to thy will. Thou art Uatchit, the lady of the flame. Evil cometh among those who set themselves up against thee. What then is this? Hidden in form, granted of Menhu, is the name of the tomb. He seeth what is on his hand, is the name of Kuraru, or as others say, the name of the block. Now, he whose mouth shineth, and whose head moveth, is the member of Osiris, or as others say, of Ra. Thou spreadest thy hair, and I shake it out over his brow, is spoken concerning Isis, who hideth in her hair, and draweth her hair over her. Uatchit, the lady of flames, is the eye of Ra. Chapter 18. The speech of Anmuat. I have come unto thee, O great and godlike sovereign rulers, who dwell in heaven, and in earth, and in the underworld. And I have brought unto you Osiris Ani. He hath not sinned against any of the gods. Grant ye that he may be with you for all time. The adoration of Osiris, the Lord of Ristael, and of the great company of the gods who dwell in the underworld, by Osiris the scribe Ani, who saith, Homage to thee, O thou ruler of Amentet, Ur-Nefer in Abutu, Ibidios. I have come unto thee, and my heart holdeth right and truth. There is no sin in my body, nor have I lied wittingly, nor have I done aught with a false heart. Grant thou to me food in the tomb, and that I may come forth into thy presence at the altar of the Lords of right and truth, and that I may enter into and come forth from the underworld, and that my soul be not turned back, and that I may behold the face of the sun, and that I may behold the moon forever and forever. The speech of Semur. The speech of Semur. I have come unto you, O sovereign princes who dwell in Ristael, and I have brought unto you Osiris Ani, grant ye to him. As to the followers of Horus, cakes and water and air, and a homestead in Sekhet Hetep. The adoration of Osiris, Lord of everlastingness, and of the sovereign princes, the lords of Restau, by Osiris, the scribe Ani, who saith, Homage to thee, O king of the underworld, thou governor of Akert. I have come unto thee. I know the ways, and I am furnished with the forms which thou takest in the underworld. Grant thou to me a place in the underworld near unto the lords of right and truth. May my homestead be abiding in Sekhet Hetep, and may I receive cakes in thy presence. Chapter of the Gods of Localities. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou the scribe Nebseni to be victorious over his enemies, as thou didst make Osiris victorious over his enemies in the presence of the sovereign princes who are with Ra and Osiris in Anu, Heliopolis. On the night of the things of the night, and on the night of the battle, and on the night of the shackling of the Sabaoth fiends, and on the day of the destruction of Neber-Uktikir, the great sovereign princes in Anu, Aten, Shu, Tefnut, Osiris, and Thoth, and the shackling of the Sabaoth fiends, sing feeth the destruction of the fiends of Set, when a second time he worketh evil. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou the Osiris Ani to be victorious over his enemies in the presence of the great and sovereign princes who are in Tatu. On the night of making the Tet to stand up in Tatu, the great sovereign princes in Tatu are Osiris, Isis, Nephthys, and Heru Neket, Hera-Tef. Now the night of making the Tet to stand up in Tatu signifieth the lifting up of the arm and shoulder of Horus, who dwelleth in Sekhem, Letopolis, and these gods stand behind Osiris to protect him, even as do the swathings which clothe him. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou Osiris Ani triumphant over his enemies in the presence of the sovereign princes who are in Sekhem, Letopolis, on the night of the things of the night festival in Sekhem. The great sovereign princes who are in Sekhem are Heru, Kenti, and Muati, and Thoth, who is with the sovereign princes in Nerefut. Now the night of the things of the night festival in Sekhem signifieth the light of the rising sun. On the coffin of Osiris. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou the Osiris Ani triumphant over his enemies, in the presence of the great sovereign princes who are in Pet and Tept, on the night of setting up the columns of Horus, and of making him to be established as heir of the things which belonged to his father Osiris. The great sovereign princes who are in Pet and Tept are Horus, Isis, Mestha, and Hapi. Now setting up the columns of Horus signifieth the command given by Set unto his followers, set up columns upon it. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou the Osiris Ani triumphant in peace, victorious over his enemies, in the presence of the great sovereign princes who are in the lands of Rekti, on the night when Isis lay down to keep watch in order to make lamentation for her brother Osiris. The great sovereign princes who are in the lands of Rekti are Horus, Isis, Anubis, Mestha, and Thoth. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou Osiris, the scribe Ani, triumphant in peace, to be victorious over his enemies, in the presence of the great sovereign princes who are in Abtu, Abydos, on the night of the god Haka, at the separation of the wicked dead, at the judgment of the Kus, and at the rising up of joy in Teni. This. The gods of Abtu. The great sovereign princes who are in Abtu are Osiris, Isis, and Uat. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou Osiris Ani, the scribe and teller of the sacred offerings of all the gods, to be victorious over his enemies, in the presence of the sovereign princes who judge the dead on the night of the carrying out of the sentence upon those who are to die. The gods of the judgment. The great sovereign princes in the judgment of the dead are Thoth, Osiris, Anubis, and Estenu. Now the carrying out of the sentence upon those who are to die is withholding of that which is so needful to the souls of the children of impotent revolt. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou Osiris the scribe, Ani, to be victorious over his enemies, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, on the festival of the breaking and turning up of the earth in Tatu, on the night of the breaking and turning up of the earth in their blood, and of making Osiris to be victorious over his enemies. When the fiends of Set come and change themselves into beasts, the great sovereign princes, on the festival of the breaking and turning up of the earth into two, slay them in the presence of the gods therein, and their blood floweth among them as they are smitten down. These things are allowed to be done by them, by the judgment of those who are in Tattu. Hail Thoth, who made Osiris to triumph over his enemies. Make thou the Osiris Ani to be victorious over his enemies, in the presence of the great sovereign princes who are in Narat-Turut, on the night of him who concealeth himself in Diva's form, even Osiris. The gods of Anrut, the great sovereign princes who are in Narat-Turut, are Ra, Osiris, Shu, and Bebi. Now the night of him who concealeth himself in Diva's form, even Osiris, is when the thigh and the head and the heel and the leg are brought nigh unto the coffin of Osiris or Nether. Hail Thoth, who made us Osiris to triumph over his enemies. Make thou Osiris Ani to be victorious over his enemies, in the presence of the great sovereign princes in Re-Stael. On the night when Anubis lay with his arms and his hands over the things behind Osiris, and when Horus was made to triumph over his enemies, the great sovereign princes in Re-Stael are Horus, Osiris, and Isis. The heart of Osiris rejoiceth, and the heart of Horus, and therefore are the northern and southern parts of heaven at peace. Hail Thoth, who madest Osiris victorious over his enemies. Make thou Osiris Ani, the scribe and teller of the divine offerings of all the gods, to triumph over his enemies, in the presence of the 10 companies of great sovereign princes who are with Ra, and with Osiris, and with every god and goddess, in the presence of Neb-Ertachar. He hath destroyed his enemies, and he hath destroyed every evil thing belonging unto him. Chapter 19. The chapter of the Chaplet of Victory. Osiris Aoth Anchor, victorious, born of Sheret Amasu, victorious, saith, Thy father Tem hath woven for thee a beautiful chaplet of victory, to be placed on thy living brow, O thou who lovest the gods, and thou shalt live forever. Osiris Kemet Amentet hath made thee to triumph over thine enemies, and thy father Seb hath decreed for thee all his inheritance. Come therefore, O Horus, son of Isis, for thou, O son of Osiris, sittest upon the throne of thy father Ra, to overthrow thine enemies. For he hath ordained for thee the 2 lands to their utmost limits. Atem hath also ordained this, and the company of the gods hath confirmed the splendid power of the victory of Horus, the son of Isis, and the son of Osiris, for ever and for ever. And Osiris Aoth Anchor shall be victorious for ever and ever. O Osiris Kemet Amentet, the whole of the northern and southern parts of the heavens, and every god and every goddess who are in heaven and who are upon earth, will the victory of Horus, the son of Isis, and the son of Osiris, over his enemies. In the presence of Osiris Kenet Amentet, who will make Osiris Aoth Anchor victorious to triumph over his enemies. In the presence of Osiris Kenet Amentet, Un-Nefer, the son of Nut, on the day of making him to triumph over Set and his fiends. In the presence of the great sovereign chiefs, who are in Anu, Heliopolis, on the night of the battle and overthrow of the Seba fiend, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in Abtu, on the night of making Osiris to triumph over his enemies. Make thou Osiris, Aoth Anchor, victorious to triumph over his enemies, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in the horizon of Amentet. On the day of the festival of Hakkah, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in Tatu, on the night of the setting up of the Tet in Tatu, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in the ways of the damned, on the night of the judgment of those who shall be annihilated, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in Sechem, Ledopolis, on the night of the things of the altars in Sechem, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in Pet and Tet, on the night of the establishing of the inheriting by Horus of the things of his father Osiris, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are at the great festival of the ploughing and turning up of the earth into two, or as others say in Abtu, on the night of the weighing of words, or as others say, weighing of locks, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in An Rut, on its place, on the night when Horus receiveth the birth chamber of the gods, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in the land of Recti, on the night when Isis lieth down to watch, and to make lamentation for her brother, in the presence of the great sovereign princes, who are in Restau, on the night of making Osiris to triumph over all his enemies. Horus repeated these words 4 times, and all his enemies fell headlong and were overthrown and were cut to pieces. And Osiris, Aoth Anchor, triumphant, repeated these words 4 times. Therefore let all his enemies fall headlong and be overthrown and cut to pieces. Horus, the son of Isis and son of Osiris, celebrated in turn millions of festivals, and all his enemies fell headlong and were overthrown and cut to pieces. Their habitation hath gone forth to the block of the east. Their heads have been cut off. Their necks have been destroyed. Their thighs have been cut off. They have been given over to the great destroyer, who dwelleth in the valley of the grave. And they shall never come forth from under the restraint of the god Seb. Chapter 20. The Triumph of Osiris. Hail Thoth, who didst make Osiris to triumph over his enemies. Snare thou the enemies of Osiris, the scribe Nebseni, the Lord of piety, in the presence of the great sovereign princes of every god and goddess. in the presence of the great sovereign princes who are in Anu, Heliopolis, on the night of the battle and of the overthrow of the Sabaean fiend in Tatu, on the night of making to stand up the double tet in Sechem, Letopolis, on the night of the things of the night in Sechem, in Pet, and in Tapu, on the night of the establishing of Horus, in the heritage of the things of his father, in the double land of Reketi, on the night when Isis maketh lamentation at the side of her brother, Osiris in Abutu, Abydos, on the night of the Hakkah festival, of the distinguishing between the dead, the damned, and the spirits of the path of the dead, the damned, on the night of the judgment of those who are to be annihilated at the great festival of the ploughing and the turning up of the earth, great in Nuraturut, in Restau, and on the night of making Horus to triumph over his enemies. Horus is mighty, the northern and southern halves of heaven. Rejoice! Osiris is content, Theret and his heart is glad. Hail Thoth, make thou to triumph Osiris, the scribe Nebseni, over his enemies, in the presence of the sovereign princes of every god and every goddess, and in the presence of you, ye sovereign princes, who pass judgment on Osiris behind the shrine. In the sweet recension, this chapter has no vignette, but it has the title, another chapter of the Chaplet of Victory, and is arranged in tabular form. The words, Hail Thoth, make Osiris Aelf anchor, triumphant, to triumph over his enemies, even as thou didst make Osiris to triumph over his enemies, which are written in the two horizontal lines, are to be repeated before each column of text. The great sovereign princes invoked are those of Anu, Heliopolis, Tatu, Sechem, Letopolis, Pi and Tep, and Urut, and the double land of Reketi, Restau, Abutu, the paths of the dead, the ploughing festival in Tatu, Kuher-Aha, Osiris, heaven and earth, every god and every goddess. Chapter 21. The giving of a mouth to the deceased. Homage to thee, O Thoth, Lord of brightness, thou who art at the head of the great house, Prince of the night and of thick darkness. I have come unto thee, being a pure. Thy two hands are behind thee, and thou hast thy lot with thy ancestors. O grant thou unto me my mouth, that I may speak therewith, and guide thou to me my heart, at the season when there is cloud and darkness. Chapter 22. The giving of a mouth to the deceased. The chapter of giving a mouth to Osiris Ani, the scribe and teller of the holy offerings of all the gods, victorious in the underworld. He saith, I rise out of the egg in the hidden land. May my mouth be given unto me, that I may speak therewith in the presence of the great God, the Lord of the Tuat, the underworld. May my hand and my arm not be forced back in the presence of the sovereign princes of any god. I am Osiris, the Lord of Restau. May I, Osiris, the scribe Ani, victorious, have a portion with him who is on the top of the steps. Osiris, according to the desire of my heart, I have come from the pool of fire, and I have quenched the fire. Chapter 23. Opening the mouth of the deceased. The chapter of the opening the mouth of Osiris, the scribe Ani, triumphant, saith, May the god Ptah open my mouth, and may the god of my city loose the swathings, even the swathings which are over my mouth. Moreover, may Thoth, being filled and furnished with charms, come and loose the bandages, even the bandages of Set, which fetter my mouth. And may the god Tem hurl them at those who would fetter me with them and drive them back. May my mouth be opened, may my mouth be unclosed by Shu, with his iron knife, wherewith he opened the mouth of the gods. I am the goddess Sekhet, and I sit upon my place in the great wind of heaven. I am the great god Asar, who dwelleth among the souls of Anu, Heliopolis. Now as concerning every charm and all the words which may be spoken against me. May the gods resist them, and may each and every one of the company of the gods withstand them. Chapter 24. The giving of words of power. The chapter of bringing charms unto Osiris Ani in the underworld. He saith, I am Tem Khepera, who brought himself into being upon the thigh of his divine mother. Those who are in Nu, the sky, are made wolves, and those who are among the sovereign princes are become hyenas. Behold, I gather together the charm from every place where it is, and from every man with whom it is, swifter than greyhounds, and quicker than light. Hail thou, who towest along the Mekent, boat of Ra, the stays of thy sails and of thy rudder are taut in the wind, as thou sailest up the pool of fire in the underworld. Behold, thou gatherest together the charm from every place where it is, and from every man with whom it is, swifter than greyhounds, and quicker than light. The charm which created the forms of being from the bits missing mother, and which either createth the gods, or maketh them to be silent, and which giveth the heat of fire unto the gods. Behold, the charm is given unto me, from wherever it is, and from him with whom it is. swifter than greyhounds, and quicker than light. Or as others say, quicker than a shadow. Chapter 25. The giving of memory to the deceased. The chapter of making a man to possess memory in the underworld. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal knew, triumphant, the son of the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Amenhotep, saith, May my name be given to me in the great house, and may I remember my name in the house of fire on the night of counting the years, and of telling the number of the months. I am with the Divine One, and I sit on the eastern side of heaven. If any God whatsoever should advance unto me, let me be able to proclaim his name forthwith. Chapter 26. The giving of a heart to the deceased. The chapter of giving a heart to Osiris in the underworld. He saith, May my heart be with me in the house of hearts. May my heart be with me in the house of hearts. May my heart be with me, and may it rest there, or I shall not eat of the cakes of Osiris in the eastern side of the lake of flowers. Neither shall I have a boat wherein to go down the Nile, nor another wherein to go up. Nor shall I be able to sail down the Nile with thee. May my mouth be given to me, that I may speak therewith, and my 2 legs to walk therewith, and my 2 hands and arms to overthrow my foe. May the doors of heaven be opened unto me. May Seb, the prince of the gods, open wide his 2 jaws unto me. May he open my 2 eyes, which are blindfolded. May he cause me to stretch apart my 2 legs, which are bound together. And may Anubis make my thighs firm, so that I may stand upon them. May the goddess Sekhet make me to rise, so that I may ascend unto heaven. And that may be done which I command in the house of the Ka, double of Ptah, Memphius. I understand with my heart I have gained the mastery over my heart. I have gained the mastery over my 2 hands. I have gained the mastery over my legs. I have gained the power to do whatsoever my Ka, double, pleaseth. My soul shall not be fettered to my body at the gates of the underworld, but I shall enter in peace, and I shall come forth in peace. Chapter 27. Of guarding the heart. The chapter of not letting the heart of a man be taken from him in the underworld. Saith Osiris Ani, Hail ye, who carry away hearts. Hail ye, who steal and crush hearts, and who make the heart of a man to go through its transformations according to his deeds. Let not what he hath done harm him before you. Homage to you, O ye lords of eternity, ye possessors of everlastingness. Take ye not this heart of Osiris Ani into your grasp, this heart of Osiris, and cause ye not words of evil to spring up against it. Because this is the heart of Osiris Ani, victorious, and it belongeth unto him of many names. Thoth, the mighty one, whose words are his limbs, and who sendeth forth his heart to dwell in his body. The heart of Osiris Ani is victorious. It is made new before the gods. He hath gained power over it. He hath not been spoken to according to what he hath done. He hath gotten power over his own members. His heart obeyeth him. He is the Lord thereof, it is in his body, and it shall never fall away therefrom. I, Osiris the scribe Ani, victorious in peace, and triumphant in the beautiful Amenta, and on the mountain of eternity, bid thee to be obedient unto me in the underworld. Chapter 28 of Guarding the Heart. The chapter of not letting the heart of the overseer, of the house of the overseer, of the seal, new, triumphant, be carried away from him in the underworld. He saith, Hail thou, lying God, I am the flower bush, that which is an abomination unto me is the divine block. Let not this my heart be carried away from me by the fighting gods in Anu. Hail thou, who dost wind bandages round Osiris, and who hast seen Set. Hail thou, who returnest after smiting and destroying him before the mighty ones. This my heart sitteth and weepeth for itself before Osiris. It hath made supplication for me. I have given unto him, and I have decreed unto him the thoughts of the heart in the house of the god Usekara, and I have brought to him sand at the entry to Kemenu, Hempolis Magna. Let not this my heart be carried away from me. I make thee to dwell upon his throne, O thou who joinest together hearts in Sekhet Hetep, with years of strength against all things that are an abomination unto thee, and to carry off food from among the things which belong unto thee. And I in thy grasp by reason of thy twofold strength, and this my heart is devoted to the decrees of the god Tem, who leadeth me into the dens of Suti. But let not this my heart, which hath done its desire, before the sovereign princes, who are in the underworld, be given unto him. When they find the leg and the swathings, they bury them. Chapter 29 of Guarding the Heart. The chapter of not letting the heart of a man be taken away from him in the underworld. Osiris Ani, victorious, saith, Turn thou back, O messenger of every god. Is it that thou art come to carry away this my heart which liveth? But my heart which liveth shall not be given unto thee. As I advance, the gods hearketh unto my offerings, and they all fall down upon their faces in their own places. Chapter 29. The Heart of Carnelian. The chapter of not allowing the heart of Amenhotep victorious to be carried away dead in the underworld. The deceased saith, My heart is with me, and it shall never come to pass that it shall be carried away. I am the Lord of hearts, the slayer of the heart. I live in right and truth, Muat, and I have my being therein. I am Horus, the dweller in hearts, who is within, the dweller in the body. I live in my word, and my heart hath being. Let not my heart be taken away from me. Let it not be wounded, and may neither wound nor gashes be dealt upon me, because it hath been taken away from me. Let me have my being in the body of my father Seb, and in the body of my mother Nut. I have not done that which is held in abomination by the gods. Let me not suffer defeat there, but let me be triumphant. Chapter 29. The Heart of Transformation. The chapter of a heart of Carnelian, Osiris Ani, triumphant, saith, I am the Benu, the soul of Ra, and the guide of the gods in the Tuat underworld. Their divine souls come forth upon earth to do the will of their Kas. Let therefore the soul of Osiris Ani come forth to do the will of his Ka, double. Chapter 30. The Heart of Transformations. The chapter of not letting the heart of a man be driven away from him in the underworld. Osiris Aelf Anka, triumphant, born of Sheret Amasu, triumphant, saith, My heart, my mother, my heart, my mother, my heart of my existence upon earth, may not stand up to oppose me in judgment. May there be no opposition to me in the presence of the sovereign princes. May no evil be wrought against me in the presence of the gods. May there be no parting of thee from me in the presence of the great God, the Lord of Amenhotep. Homage to thee, O thou heart of Osiris Kenet Amenhotep. Homage to you, O my reigns. Homage to you, O ye gods, who dwell in the divine clouds, and who are exalted, or holy, by reasons of your spectres. Speak ye fair words of the Osiris Aelf Anka, and make ye him to prosper before Nehebekah. And behold, though I be joined unto the earth, and am in the mighty inmost part of heaven, let me remain on the earth and not die in Mentet. And let me be a coup therein forever and ever. Chapter 30 of Protecting the Heart. The chapter of not letting the heart of the overseer, of the house of the overseer, of the seal, new, triumphant, may driven away from him in the underworld. He saith, O my heart, my mother, O my heart, my mother, O my heart of my existence upon earth, may not stand up to oppose me in judgment, in the presence of the lords of the trial. Let it not be said of me, and of that which I have done, he hath done deeds against that which is right and true. May not be against me, in the presence of the great gods, the Lord of Amentet. Homage to thee, O my heart. Homage to thee, O my heart. Homage to you, O my reins. Homage to you, O ye gods, who dwell in the divine clouds, and who are exalted or holy by reasons of your spectres. Speak ye for me fair things to Ra, and make ye me to prosper before Nehekibah. And behold me, even though I be joined to the earth in the mighty innermost parts thereof, let me remain upon the earth, and let me not die in Amentet, but become a coup therein. Chapter 30 of Protecting the Heart. The chapter of not letting the heart of Osiris, the scribe of the holy offerings of all the gods, Ani, triumphant, be driven from him in the underworld. He saith, My heart, my mother, my heart, my mother, my heart, whereby I came into being, may not stand up to oppose me at my judgment. May there be no opposition to me in the presence of the sovereign princes. May there be no parting of thee from me in the presence of him that keepeth the balance. Thou art my car, the dweller in my body, the god Khenemu, who knitteth and strengtheneth my limbs. Mayest thou come forth into the place of happiness, whither we go. May the Shentit, the divine officers of the court of Osiris, who form the conditions of the lives of men, not cause my name to stink. Let it be satisfactory unto us, and let the listening be satisfactory unto us, and let there be joy of heart unto us at the weighing of words. Let not that which is false be uttered against me before the great God, the Lord of Amentet. Verily, how great shalt thou be when thou risest in triumph. Chapter 31. Behold, make a scarab of green stone, wash it with gold, and place it in the heart of a man, the deceased, and it will perform for him the opening of the mouth. Anoint it with unguent, and recite over it as a charm the following words. My heart, my mother. My heart, my mother. Chapter 31 of Repulsing Crocodiles. The chapter of beating back the crocodile that cometh to carry away the charm from Nu, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, triumphant, the son of the overseer of the house Amenhotep, triumphant in the underworld, he saith, Get thee back, return, get thee back, thou crocodile fiend Sui. Thou shalt not advance to me. For I live by reason of the magical words which I have by me. I do not utter that name of thine to the great God, who will cause thee to come to the two divine envoys. The name of the one is Betty, and the name of the other is Hara Ken Muat. Heaven hath power over its seasons, and the magical word hath power over that which is in its possession. Let therefore my mouth have power over the magical word which is therein. My front teeth are like unto flint knives, and my back teeth are like unto the nome of Tutef. Hail thou that sittest with thine eyeball upon these my magical words. Thou shalt not carry them away, O thou crocodile that livest by means of magical words. Mother Nut, on the day of the great slaughter, my father is Seb, and my mother is Nut. I am Horus, the firstborn of Ra, who is crowned. I am Anpu, Anubis. On the day of reckoning, I, even I, am Osiris, the prince who goeth in and declareth the offerings which are written down. I am the guardian of the door of Osiris. Even I have come. I have become glorious, or Aku. I have been reckoned up. I am strong. I have come, and I avenge my own self. I have sat in the birth chamber of Osiris, and I was born with him, and I renew my youth along with him. I have laid hold upon the thigh which was by Osiris, and I have opened the mouth of the gods therewith. I sit upon the place where he sitteth, and I write down the number of things which make strong the heart. Thousands of loaves of bread, thousands of vases of beer, which are upon the altars of his father Osiris. Numbers of jackals, wolves, oxen, red fowl, geese and ducks. Horus hath done away with the sacrifices of Thoth. I fill the office of priest in the regions above, and I write down there the things which make strong the heart. I make offerings, or offerings are made to me, at the altars of the prince of Tatu. I have my being through the oblations made to him. I snuff the wind of the east by his head, and I lay hold upon the breezes of the west thereby. Bits missing. I go round about heaven in the four quarters thereof, I stretched out my hand and grasped the breezes of the south, which are upon its hair. Grant unto me air among the venerable beings, and among those who eat bread. Chapter 32 of Repulsing Crocodiles. The chapter of beating back the crocodile that cometh to carry away the magical words from the Ku in the underworld. Osiris, Aelf, Anchor, triumphant, saith, the mighty one fell down upon the place where he is, or as others say, upon his belly. But the company of the gods caught him and set him up again. My soul cometh and it speaketh with its father, and the mighty one delivereth it from these 8 crocodiles. I know them by their names, and what they live upon, and I am he who have delivered his father from them. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwellest in the west, thou that livest upon the stars, which never rest. For that which is an abomination unto thee is in my belly. O thou that hast eaten the forehead of Osiris, I am set. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwelleth in the west, for the serpent fiend, Nuau, is in my belly, and I will give him unto thee. Let not thy flame be against me. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwellest in the east, who feedest upon those who eat their own filth. For that which is an abomination unto thee is in my belly. I advance. I am Osiris. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwellest in the east. The serpent fiend Nuau is in my belly, and I will give him unto thee. Let not thy flame come against me. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwellest in the south, who feedest upon filth and waste and dirt. For that which is an abomination unto thee is in my belly. Shall not the flame be on thy hand? I am set. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwellest in the south, for I am safe by reason of my charm. My fist is among the flowers, and I will not give it unto thee. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwellest in the north, who feedest upon what is offered within the hours. For that which thou abominatest is in my belly. Let not thy venom be upon my head, for I am Tem. Get thee back, O crocodile, that dwellest in the north, for the goddess Serquet is in my belly, and I have not yet brought her forth. I am Uach Matai, or Murti. The things which are created are in the hollow of my hand, and those which have not yet come into being are in my body. I am clothed and wholly provided with thy magical words. O Ra, the which are in heaven above me, and in the earth beneath me, I have gained power and exaltation, and a full breathing throat in the abode of my father, the mighty one, And he hath delivered unto me the beautiful Amentet, which destroyeth living men and women. But strong is its divine Lord, who suffereth from weakness, or as others say, exhaustion, twofold. Therein, day by day, my face is open, my heart is upon its seat, and the crown with the serpent is upon me day by day. I am Ra, who is his own protector, and nothing shall ever cast me to the ground. Chapter 33 of Repulsing Serpents. The chapter of repulsing serpents or worms, Nu, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the Sil, triumphant saith, Hail thou, serpent Rerik, advance not hither. Behold, Seb and Shu, stand still now, and thou shalt eat the rat, which is an abominable thing unto Ra, and thou shalt crunch the bones of the filthy cat. Chapter 34, Against Snakebite. The chapter of not letting Osiris, Nu, triumphant, be bitten by snakes or worms in the underworld. He saith, O serpent, I am the flame which shineth upon the opener of hundreds of thousands of years, and the standard of the god Tempu, or as others say, the standard of young plants and flowers. Depart ye from me, for I am the divine Maftet. Chapter 35, Against Death by Serpents. The chapter of not letting Nu, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the Sil, triumphant, be devoured by serpents in the underworld. He saith, Hail thou, god Shu. Behold, Tutu. Behold, Shu. Hail, Tutu. Shu have the headdress of the goddess Hathor. They nurse Osiris, beholding the twofold being who is about to eat me. Alating from the boat I depart, and the serpent fiend, Seksek, passeth me by. Behold, Sam and Akwet flowers are kept under guard. This being is Osiris, and he maketh entreaty for his tomb. The eyes of the divine prince are dropped, and he performeth the reparation which is to be done for thee. He giveth unto thee thy portion of right and truth, according to the decision concerning the states and conditions of men. Chapter 36, Repulsing Upshate. The chapter of driving away Upshate, Osiris Nu, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the Sil, triumphant saith, Depart from me, O thou that hast lips which gnaw, for I am Khenemu, the lord of Peshanu, and I bring the words of the gods to Ra, and I report my message to the Lord thereof. Most of chapter 36 is missing. Chapter 37. The chapter of driving back the two Murti goddesses. Nu, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the Sil, triumphant saith, Homage to you, ye two Ret goddesses, ye two sisters of ye two Mert. Goddesses, I bring a message to you concerning my magical words. I shine from the Sekhet boat I am Horus, the son of Osiris, and I have come to see my father, Osiris. Chapter 38 of Living by Air. The chapter of Living by Air in the underworld describe Nebseni, the lord to whom veneration is paid, saith, I am the god Tem, who cometh forth out of Nu, into the watery abyss. I have received my habitation of Amentet, and have given commands with my words to the Kus, whose abiding places are hidden, to the Kus, and to the double-lying god. I have made journeys round about, and I have sung hymns of joy in the boat of Kepra. I have eaten therein, I have gained power therein, and I live therein through the breezes which are there. I am the guide in the boat of Ra, and he openeth out for me a path. He maketh a passage for me through the gates of the god Seb. I have seized and carried away those who live in the embrace of the god Mighty One. I am the guide of those who live in their shrines, the two brother gods, Horus and Set, and I bring the noble ones with me. I enter in, and I come forth, and my throat is not slit. I go into the boat of Muat, and I pass in among those who live in the Atet boat, and who are in the following of Ra, and are nigh unto him in his horizon. I live after my death day by day, and I am strong, even as is the double-lying god. I live, and I am delivered after my death. I the scribe Nebseni, the lord of piety, who fill the earth and come forth like the lily, of mother of emerald, of the god Hetep, of the two lands. The chapter of Living by Air in the underworld. Nu, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, triumphant, the son of the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Amenhotep, triumphant, saith, I am the double-lying god, the firstborn of Ra and Tem, of the gods who dwell in their divine chambers. Those who dwell in their divine abodes have become my guides, and they make paths for me as they revolve in the watery abyss of the sky. By the side of the path of the boat of Tem, I stand upon timbers of the boat of Ra, and I recite his audiences to the beings who have knowledge. And I am the herald of his words to him whose throat stinketh. I set free my divine fathers at eventide. I close the lips of my mouth, and I eat like unto a living being. I have life into two, and I live again after death like Ra, day by day. Chapter 39 of Repulsing Rerik. The chapter of driving back the serpent Rerik in the underworld, Osiris Mesemneter saith, Get thee back, depart, retreat from me, O Earth Peth, withdraw, or thou shalt be drowned at the pool of Nu, at the place where thy father hath ordered that thy slaughter shall be performed. Depart thou from the divine birthplace of Ra, wherein is thy terror. I am Ra, who dwelleth in his terror. Get thee back, fiend, before the darts of his beams. Ra hath overthrown thy words. The gods have turned thy face backwards. The lynx hath torn open thy breast. The scorpion hath cast fetters upon thee, and Wat hath sent forth thy destruction. Those who are in the ways have overthrown thee. Fall down and depart, O Apep, thou enemy of Ra. O thou that passest over the region in the eastern part of heaven, with the sound of the roaring thundercloud. O Ra, who openest the gates of the horizon straightway, on thy appearance, Apep, have sunk helpless under thy gashings. I have performed thy will, O Ra. I have performed thy will. I have done that which is fair. I have done that which is fair. I have laboured for thee the peace of Ra. I have made to advance thy fetters, O Ra and Apep, have fallen through thy drawing them tight. The gods of the south and of the north, of the west and of the east, have fastened chains upon him, and they have fettered him with fetters. The god Rekes hath overthrown him, and the god Hurtit hath put him in chains. Ra setteth, Ra setteth. Ra is strong at his setting. Apep hath fallen. Apep, the enemy of Ra, departeth. Greater is the punishment which hath been inflicted on thee than the sting which is in the scorpion goddess, and mightily hath she, whose course is everlasting, worked it upon thee, and with deadly effect. Thou shalt never enjoy the delight of love. Thou shalt never fulfill thy desire, O Apep, thou enemy of Ra. He maketh thee to go back, thou who art hateful to Ra. He looketh upon thee. Get thee back. He pierceth thy head. He cutteth through thy face. He divideth thy head at the two sides of the ways, and it is crushed in his land. Thy bones are smashed in pieces. Thy members are hacked off thee, and the god Aker hath condemned thee, O Apep, thou enemy of Ra. Thy mariners are those who keep the reckoning for thee, O Ra, as thou advancest and thou restest. There wherein are the offerings made to thee. As thou advancest towards the house, the advance which thou hast made towards the house is a preposterous advance. Let not any baleful obstacles proceed from thy mouth against me when thou workest on my behalf. I am set, who let loose the storm clouds at the thunder in the horizon of heaven, even as doth the god Net Shebek Up. Hail, saith the god Tem. Make strong your faces, O soldiers of Ra, for I have driven back the god Nen Tchar in the presence of the divine sovereign princes. Hail, saith the god Zeb, make ye firm those who are upon their seats which are in the boat of Kippara. Take ye your ways, grasping your weapons of war in your hands. Hail, saith Hathor, take ye your armour. Hail, saith Nut, come and repulse the god Tchar, who pursueth him that dwelleth in his shrine, and who setteth out on his way alone, namely Neb-Erkteker, who cannot be repulsed. Hail, say those gods who dwell in their companies, and who go round about the turquoise pool. Come, O mighty one, we praise, and we will deliver the mighty one who dwelleth in the divine shrine, from whom proceeds the company of the gods. Let commemorations be made for him. Let praise be given to him. Let words of praise be recited before him by you and by me. Hail, saith Nut, to thy sweet one. Hail, say those who dwell among the gods. He cometh forth, he findeth his way, he maketh captives among the gods. He hath taken possession of the goddess Nut, and Seb standeth up. Hail, thou terrible one, the company of the gods is on the march. Hathor quaketh with terror, and Ra hath triumphant over Apep. Chapter 40. Repulsing the foe of Ra. The chapter of driving back the eater of the arse, Osiris Ra, triumphant, saith, I get thee back, hi, thou impure one, thou abomination of Osiris. Thoth hath cut off thy head, and I have performed upon thee all the things which the company of the gods ordered concerning thee, in the matter of the work of thy slaughter. Get thee back, thou abomination of Osiris, from the Neshmet boat, it's missing, which advanceth with a fair wind. Ye are holy, O all ye gods, and ye have cast down headlong the enemies of Osiris. The gods of Taor shout for joy. Get thee back, O thou eater of the arse, thou abomination of the god Has, who dwelleth in the underworld. I know thee, I know thee, I know thee, I know thee. Who art thou? I am, bits missing. On thy face, O fiend, and devour me not, for I am pure. I am with the time which cometh of itself. Thou shalt not come to me, O thou that comest without being invoked, and whose time of coming is unknown. I am the Lord of thy mouth. Get thee back, thou and thy desires. Hail, Has, with his flint knife. Horus hath cut asunder thy members, and thou art destroyed within thy company, and thy bend or dwelling place is destroyed. For thee, by the company of thy gods, who dwell in the cities of Pi and Tep, he that slayeth thee, there is in the form of the eye of Horus, and I have driven thee away as thou wast advancing, and I have vanquished thee by the winds of my mouth, O thou eater of those who commit sins, who dost plunder and spoil. I have committed no sin. Therefore let my polity and the writings with hostile charges against me upon them be given unto me. I have done no wrong in the presence of the sovereign princes. Therefore shoot not thy venom at me. I give, do thou take according to what I order. Snatch me not away, and eat me not, for I am the Lord of life, the Prince, life, health, strength of the horizon. Chapter 41 of Avoiding Slaughter. The chapter of driving away the slaughterings which are performed in the underworld. Nebseni, the scribe and designer in the temples of Upper and Lower Egypt, he to whom fair veneration is paid, the son of the scribe and artist, Thena, triumphant, saith, Hail Tem, I have become glorious, or a coup, in the presence of the double-lying God, the great God. Therefore open thou unto me the gate of the god Seb. I smell the earth. I bow down so that my nose toucheth the ground of the great God who dwelleth in the underworld, and I advance into the presence of the company of the gods who dwell with the beings who are in the underworld. Hail, thou guardian of the divine door of the city of Beta, thou Neti, who dwellest in Amentet. I eat food, and I have life through the air, and the god Ach-Ur leadeth me with him to the mighty boat of Khepra. I hold converse with the divine mariners. At eventide I enter in. I go forth, and I see the being who is there. I lift him up, and I say that which I have to say unto him whose throat stinketh for lack of air. I have life, and I am delivered, having lain down in death. Hail, thou that bringest offerings and oblations, bringing forward thy mouth, and make to draw nigh the writings or list of offerings and oblations. Set thou right and truth firmly upon their throne. Make thou the writings to draw nigh, and set thou up the goddesses in the presence of Osiris, the mighty God, the Prince of everlastingness, who counteth his years, who hearkeneth unto those who are in the islands or pools, who raiseth his right shoulder, who judgeth the divine princes, and who sendeth the deceased into the presence of the great sovereign princes who live in the underworld. Chapter 42 of Avoiding Slaughter. The chapter of driving back the slaughterings which are performed in Suten Henen, Osiris, Nu, triumphant saith, O thou, land of the sceptre, literally wood, O thou, white crown of the divine form, O thou, resting place of the boat, I am the child, I am the child, I am the child, I am the child. Hail, Abu thou sayest day by day, the slaughter block is made ready, as thou knowest, and thou hast come to decay. I am Ra, the stablisher of those who praise him. I am the knot of the god within the Aser tree, the doubly beautiful one, who is more splendid than yesterday. Say 4 times, I am Ra, the stablisher of those who praise him. I am the knot of the god within the Aser tree, and my going forth is the going forth of Ra on this day. My hair is the hair of Nu, my face is the face of the disk, my eyes are the eyes of Hathor, my ears are the ears of Atuat, my nose is the nose of Kentikas, my lips are the lips of Anpu, my teeth are the teeth of Serquet, my neck is the neck of the divine goddess Isis, my hands are the hands of Bar-Neb-Tatu, my forearms are the forearms of Neith, the lady of Sais. My backbone is the backbone of Suti. My phallus is the phallus of Osiris. My reins are the reins of the Lord of Keher-Aha. My chest is the chest of the Mighty One of Terror. My belly and back are the belly and back of Sekhet. My buttocks are the buttocks of the Eye of Horus. My hips and legs are the hips and legs of Nut. My feet are the feet of Ptah. My fingers and my leg bones are the fingers and leg bones of the living gods. There is no member of my body which is not the member of some god. The god Thoth shieldeth my body altogether, and I am Ra day by day. I shall not be dragged back by my arms, and none shall lay violent hold upon my hands, and shall do me hurt, neither men nor gods, nor the sainted dead, nor those who have perished, nor any one of those of ancient times, nor any mortal, nor any human being. I am he who cometh forth, advancing, whose name is unknown. I am yesterday, and seer of millions of years is my name. I pass along the paths of the divine celestial judges. I am the Lord of eternity, and I decree, and I judge like the god Khepra. I am the Lord of the erect crown. I am he who dwelleth in the Utach, and in the egg, in the Uchat, and in the egg, and it is given unto me to live with them. I am he that dwelleth in the Uchat, when it closeth, and I exist by the strength thereof. I come forth and I shine. I enter in and I come to life. I am in the Uchat. My seat is upon my throne, and I sit in the abode of splendour before it. I am Horus, and I traverse millions of years. I have given the decree for the establishing of my throne, and I am the ruler thereof. And in very truth, my mouth keepeth an even balance, both in speech and in silence. In very truth, my forms are inverted. I am Un-Nefer. From one season even unto another, and what I have is within me. I am the only one who proceedeth from an only one who goeth round about in his course. I am he who dwelleth in the Uchat. No evil thing of any form or kind shall spring up against me, and no baleful object, and no harmful thing, no disastrous thing shall happen unto me. I open the door in heaven, I govern my throne, and I open up the way for the births which take place on this day. I am the child who marcheth along the road of yesterday. I am today for untold nations and peoples. I am he who protecteth you for millions of years. And whether ye be denizens of the heavens, or of the earth, or of the south, or of the north, or of the east, or of the west, the fear of me is in your bodies. I am he whose being has been moulded in his eye, and I shall not die again. My moment is in your bodies, but my forms are in my place of habitation. I am he who cannot be known, but the red ones have their faces directed towards me. I am the unveiled one, the season wherein the God created the heavens for me, and enlarged the bounds of the earth, and made great the progeny thereof, cannot be found out. But they fail and are not united again. My name setteth itself apart from all things, and from the great evil which is in the mouths of men. By reason of the speech which I address unto you, I am he who riseth and shineth, the wool which cometh out of a wool, an only one who proceedeth from an only one. There is never a day that passeth without the things which appertain unto him being therein, passing, passing, passing. Verily I say unto thee, I am the sprout which cometh forth from Nu, and my mother is Nut. Hail, O my Creator! I am he who hath no power to walk, the great Not who is within yesterday. The might of my strength is within my hand. I myself am not known, but I am he who knoweth thee. I cannot be held with the hand, but I am he who can hold thee in his hand. Hail, O egg! Hail, O egg! I am Horus, he who liveth for millions of years, whose flame shineth upon you. and bringeth your hearts to me. I have the command of my throne, and I advance at this season. I have opened a path, and I have delivered myself from all evil things. I am the dog-headed ape of gold, 3 palms and 2 fingers high, which hath neither arms nor legs, and dwelleth in Het-Karpatar, Memphis. And I go forth, as goeth forth the dog-headed ape, that dwelleth in Het-Karpatar. In the papyrus of Ani, only a portion of this chapter is given. Defecation of members. The hair of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the hair of Nu. The face of Osiris, the scribe Ani, triumphant is the face of Ra. The eyes of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the eyes of Hathor. The ears of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the ears of Ap-Uat. The lips of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the lips of Anpu. The teeth of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the teeth of Serqet. The neck of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the neck of Isis. The hands of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the hands of Bar-Neb-Tutu. The shoulder of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the shoulder of Utchat. The throat of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the throat of Mert. The forearms of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the forearms of the Lady of Sais. The backbone of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the backbone of Set. The chest of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the chest of the lords of Kerahah. The flesh of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the flesh of the mighty one of Terror. The reins and back of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the reins and back of Sekhet. The buttocks of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the buttocks of the Eye of Horus. The phallus of Osiris Ani, triumphant is the phallus of Osiris. The legs of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the legs of Nut. The feet of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the feet of Ptah. The fingers of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the fingers of Orion. The leg bones of Osiris Ani, triumphant are the leg bones of the living Ure. Chapter 43. Against decapitation. The chapter of not letting the head of a man be cut off from him in the underworld. Osiris Ani, triumphant, saith, I am the Great One, son of the Great One. I am fire, the son of fire, to whom was given his head after it had been cut off. The head of Osiris was not taken away from him. Let not the head of Osiris, Ani, be taken away from him. I have knit myself together. I have made myself whole and complete. I have renewed my youth. I am Osiris, the Lord of eternity. Chapter 44. Against the second death. The chapter of not dying a second time in the underworld. Osiris Ani, triumphant saith, my place of hiding is opened. My place of hiding is revealed. The Kus have fallen into the darkness. But the eye of Horus hath made me mighty, and the god Atuat hath nursed me like a babe. I have hidden myself with you, O ye stars that never diminish. My brow is like unto that of Ra. My face is open. My heart is upon its throne. I have power over the speech of my mouth. I have knowledge. In very truth, I am Ra himself. I am not held to be a person of no account, and violence shall not be done unto me. Thy father liveth for thee, O son of Nut. I am thy son, O great one, and I have seen the hidden things which belong unto thee. I am crowned King of the gods. I shall not die a second time in the underworld. Chapter 45. Against Corruption. The chapter of not suffering corruption in the underworld, Osiris Ani, triumphant, saith, O thou who canst not move like unto Osiris, O thou who canst not move like unto Osiris, thou whose limbs cannot move like unto those of Osiris, let not thy limbs be without movement. Let them not suffer corruption. Let them not pass away. Let them not decay. And let them be fashioned for me as if I myself were Osiris. Chapter 46. Against Decay. The chapter of not perishing and becoming alive in the underworld, Osiris Ani saith, Hail ye children of the god Shu, the Tuat underworld, Bath gained the mastery over his Diadem like the Hamenet beings. May I arise, even as Osiris doth arise and fare forth. Chapter 47. Of preserving the throne. The chapter of not allowing the seat and throne of Nu, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the Sil, to be taken away from him in the underworld. He saith, O my seat, O my throne, come ye to me, and go ye round about me. I am your Lord, O ye gods. Come ye, and take up your places in my train. I am the son of your Lord, and ye belong to me through my divine Father, who hath made you. Chapter 48. O my seat, O my throne, come ye to me, and go ye round about me. O ye gods, I am a spiritual body. Therefore let me rise up among those who follow the great God. I am the son of Muati, and that which he abomineth is the speech of falsehood. I am in triumph. Chapter 49 is mostly in pictures and missing, and it's found in other chapters. Chapter 50, of avoiding the block of slaughter. The chapter of not entering in unto the block of thy God, Nebseni, saith, the 4 bones or knots of my neck and back have been joined together for me by the guardian of heaven, who established the knot for him, who lay helpless at the breast of his mother, on the day of cutting off the hair. The bones of my neck and back have been knit together by the gods set, and by the company of the gods as strongly as they were in the time that is past. May nothing happen to break them apart. Make ye me strong. The goddess Nut hath joined together the bones of my neck and back, and they are even as they were in the time that is past. When I saw the true birth of the gods, invisible forms, take place in its true and right order, I am petty, and I am in the presence of the great God. The chapter of not entering in unto the block. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, triumphant, saith, I have joined up my head and neck in heaven and in earth. Behold, it is Ra, who day by day stablisheth the knot for him, who stood helpless upon his legs on the day of cutting off the hair. The god Suti and the company of the gods have joined together my neck and my back strongly, and they are even as they were in the time that is past. May nothing happen to break them apart. Make ye me strong against the slaughter of my divine Father. I have gotten power over my 2 hands. The goddess Nut hath joined together the bones of my neck and back, and I behold them as they were in the time that is past, when as yet I had not seen Mart, and when the gods were not born. Invisible forms. I am Penti, and I am in the form of the destroyer of the great gods. Chapter 51 of avoiding unclean food. The chapter of not marching to be overthrown in the underworld. The overseer of the palace, Nu, triumphant, saith, that which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me, let me not eat. That which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me is filth. Let me not eat it in the place of the sepulchral cakes, which are offered unto the cuss. Let me not be destroyed thereby. Let me not be compelled to take it into my hands, and let me not be compelled to walk thereon in my sandals. Chapter 52 of avoiding unclean food. The chapter of not eating filth in the underworld. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant, saith, that which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me, let me not eat. That which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me is filth. Let me not eat it in the place of the sepulchral cakes, which are offered unto the Kas. Let it not light upon my body. Let me not be obligated to take it into my hands. And let me not be obligated to walk thereon in my sandals. What now wilt thou live upon in the presence of the gods? Let food come unto me from the place whither thou wilt bring food. And let me live upon the 7 loaves of bread, which shall be brought as food before Horus, and upon the bread which is brought before Thoth. The gods shall say unto me, What manner of food wouldest thou have given unto thee? And I reply, Let me eat my food under the sycamore tree of my lady, the goddess Hathor, and let my times be among the divine beings who have alliated thereon. Let me have the power to order my own fields into 2, Mendes, and my own growing crops in Anu, Heliopolis. Let me live upon bread made of white barley, and let my beer be made from red grain, and may the persons of my father and mother be given unto me as guardians of my door and for ordering of my territory. Let me be sound and strong. Let me have a large room, and let me be able to sit wheresoever I please. Chapter 53 of Avoiding Unclean Food. The chapter of not eating filth and of not drinking foul water in the underworld. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant, saith, I am the bull with 2 horns, and I lead along the heavens. I am the Lord of the rising of the heavens, of the great Illuminer, who cometh forth out of flame, the bestower of years, the far extending one, the double lion God. And there hath been given to me the journey of the God of splendour, Ku, that which is an abomination unto me, that which is an abomination unto me, let me not eat. Let me not eat filth, and let me not drink foul water, and let me not be tripped up and fall in the underworld. I am Lord of cakes in Anu, and my bread is in heaven with Ra, and my cakes are on the earth with the god Seb, for the Septet boat and the Atet boat have brought them to me from the house of the great God who is in Anu. I have put away from me my associates, and I have united myself to the boat of heaven. I eat of what they, the gods, or the divine boatmen, eat there. I live upon what they live upon there. And I eat of the cakes which are in the hall of the Lord of sepulchral offerings. I, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant. Chapter 54 of Obtaining Heir. The chapter of giving heir to the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant in the underworld, he saith, Hail thou God Tamu, grant unto me the sweet breath which dwelleth in thy nostrils. I am the egg which is in Kenkener, the great crackler, and I watch and guard that mighty thing which have come into being, and with which the god Seb hath opened the earth, I live, and it liveth. I become old, I live, and I snuff the air. I am the god Ucha Abet, the god who trieth hostility, and I revolve behind to protect his egg. I shine at the moment of Horus, the mighty god Suti, whose strength is twofold. Hail thou who makest sweet the seasons of the two earths, thou dweller among celestial food, thou dweller in the Cerulean heights of heaven. Keep watch over the babe that dwelleth in his cot, when he cometh forth to you. Chapter 55 of Snuffing the Air. The chapter of giving air in the underworld, saith Nu triumphant. I am the jackal of jackals, I am Shu, and I draw air from the presence of the god of light Ku, to the bounds of heaven, and to the bounds of earth, and to the bounds of the uttermost limits of the flight, literally feather, of the Neber bird. May air be given unto these young divine beings. Chapter 56 of Snuffing the Air. The chapter of snuffing the air among the waters in the underworld, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu triumphant saith, Hail thou god Tem, grant thou unto me the sweet breath which dwelleth in thy nostrils. I embrace that great throne which is in the city of Hermopolis, and I keep watch over the egg of Kenkekur, great crackler. I germinate as it germinateth, I live as it liveth, and my breath is as its breath. Chapter 57 of Snuffing the Air. The chapter of snuffing the air and of having the mastery over the water in the underworld, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant saith, Hail, Happy God of heaven, in thy name of divider of heaven, grant thou unto me that I may have dominion over the water, even as the goddess Sekhet had power over Osiris on the night of the storms and floods. Grant thou that I may have power over the divine princes who have their habitations in the place of the god of the induation, even as they have power over their own holy god, of whose name they are ignorant. And may they let me have power, even as he hath let them have power. My nostrils are opened into two, or as others say, my mouth and my nostrils are opened into tail, and I have my place of peace in Anu, which is my house. It was built for me by the goddess Sheteta, and the god Kenamu set it up for me upon its walls. If to this heaven it cometh by the north, I sit at the south. If to this heaven it cometh by the south, I sit at the north. If to this heaven it cometh by the west, I sit at the east. And if to this heaven it cometh by the east, I sit at the west. I draw the air of my nostrils, and I make my way into every place in which I wish to sit. I am strong in my mouth and in my nostrils, for behold, Tem has stablished them. Behold, O ye gods and Cus, rest thou then, O Tem. Behold the staff which blossometh, and which cometh forth when a man crieth out in your names. Behold, I am Tem, the tree of the gods in their visible forms. Let me not be turned back. Bits missing. I am the Am-Kehent, Nefer Uben, triumphant. Let neither my flesh nor my members be gashed with knives. Let me not be wounded by knives by you. I have come, I have been judged, I have come forth therein. I have power with my father, the old man. No, he hath granted that I may live. He hath given strength unto me, and he hath provided me with the inheritance of my father therein. Chapter 58 of Breathing the Air. The chapter of breathing the air and of having dominion over the water in the underworld. Osiris-Ani saith, Open to me, who art thou? Whither goest thou? What is thy name? I am one of you. Who are those with thee? The two serpent goddesses, Myrti, separate thou from him, head from head. When thou goest into the divine Mesquen chamber, he letteth me set out for the temple of the gods, who have found their faces. Assembler of souls is the name of my boat, making the hair to stand on the end is the name of the oars. Goad is the name of the hold. Making straight for the middle is the name of the rudder. Likewise, the boat is a type of my being borne onward. In the pool, let there be given unto me vessels of milk, together with cakes and loaves of bread, and cups of drink and flesh, in the temple of Anpu. Chapter 59 of Snuffing the Air. The chapter of snuffing the air and of having dominion over the water in the underworld. Osiris-Ani saith, Hail thou, sycamore, tree of the goddess Nut, grant thou to me of the water and of the air, which dwell in thee. I embrace the throne which is in Anu, Hermopolis, and I watch and guard the egg of Nekur, the great crackler. It groweth, I grow. It liveth, I live. It snuffed the air, I snuff the air. I, the Osiris-Ani, in triumph. Chapter 60 of Snuffing the Air. Another chapter. Osiris, Aelf Anchor, triumphant, saith, Let the gate of heaven be open for me, by the god Thoth, and by Harpy, and let me pass through the doors of Tarqueb into the great heaven, or as others say, at the time, or as others say, with the strength of Ra. Grant ye, O Thoth and Harpy, that I may have power over the water, even as Set had power over his enemies on the day when there were storms and rain upon the earth. Let me have power over the divine beings who have mighty arms in their shoulders, even as the God who is apparelled in splendour and whose name is unknown, had power over them. and may I have power over the beings whose arms are mighty. Chapter 61 of Drinking Water. The chapter of not letting the soul of a man be taken from him in the underworld. Osiris the scribe Ani saith, I, even I, am he who came forth from the water flood, which I make to overflow, and which becometh mighty as the river Nile. Chapter 62 of Drinking Water. The chapter of drinking water in the underworld. The scribe Nebseni, bits missing, saith, may be open to me the mighty flood by Osiris, and may the abyss of water be opened to me by Tehuti Harpi, the Lord of the horizon. In my name of Opener, may there be granted to me mastery over the water courses, as over the members of Set. I go forth into heaven. I am the lion god Ra. I am the bull. I have eaten the thigh, and I have divided the carcass. I have gone round about among the islands or lakes of Sekhet Aru. Indefinite time, without beginning and without end, hath been given to me. I inherit eternity, and everlastingness hath been bestowed upon me. Chapter 63 of not being burnt. The chapter of drinking water and of not being burnt by fire in the underworld. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant saith, Hail, bull of Mentet, I am brought unto thee. I am the oar of Ra, wherewith he ferried over the divine aged ones. Let me neither be burnt up nor destroyed by fire. I am Bet, the firstborn son of Osiris, who doth meet every god within the temple of his eye in Anu. I am the divine heir, the exalted one, the mighty one, the resting one. I have made my name to germinate. I have delivered it, and thou shalt live through me day by day. Chapter 63 of not being scolded. The chapter of not being scolded with water. The overseer of the palace, the overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant saith, I am the oar made ready for rowing, wherewith Ra transported the boat containing the divine ancestors, and lifted up the moist emanations of Osiris from the lake of fire, and he was not burnt. I lie down like a divine spirit, and like Khenemu, who dwelleth among lions. Come, break away the restraints from him that passeth by the side of this path, and let me come forth by it. Chapter 64. Chapter 64 is probably one of the oldest of all in the Book of the Dead, and there are two versions of it. The longer version is called the chapter of coming forth by day in the underworld, and the shorter, the chapter of knowing the chapters of coming forth by day. Of coming forth by day in the underworld. The chapter of coming forth by day in the underworld, Nebseni, the Lord of reverence, saith, I am yesterday, today, and tomorrow. and I have the power to be born a second time. I am the divine hidden soul, who createth the gods, and who giveth celestial meals unto the denizens of Tuat, the underworld, Amentet and heaven. I am the rudder of the east, the possessor of two divine faces, wherein his beams are seen. I am the Lord of the men who are raised up, the Lord who cometh forth from out of the darkness, and whose forms of existence are of the house wherein are the dead. Hail ye two hawks, who are perched upon your resting places, who hearken unto the things which are said by him, who guide the bear to the hidden places, who lead along Ra, and who follow him into the uppermost place of the shrine which is in the celestial heights. Hail, Lord of the shrine which standeth in the middle of the earth. He is I, and I am he, and Ptah hath covered his sky with crystal. Hail, Ra, thou who art content, thy heart is glad by reason of thy beautiful law of the day. Thou enterest in by Kemenu, and cometh forth at the east, and the divine firstborn beings who are in thy presence cry out with gladness unto thee. Make thou thy roads glad for me, and make broad for me thy paths, when I shall set out from earth for the life in the celestial regions. Send forth thy light upon me, O soul unknown, for I am one of those who are about to enter in, and the divine speech is in my ears in the underworld. And let no defects of my mother be imputed unto me. Let me delivered, and let me be safe from him whose divine eyes sleep at eventide, when he gathereth together and finisheth the day in night. I flood the land with water, and Quemer is my name. And the garment wherewith I am clothed is complete. Hail thou, divine prince, Atishef, cry out unto those divine beings who dwell in their hair at the season when the god is lifted upon the shoulder, saying, Come thou who dwellest above thy divine abyss of water, for verily the thigh of the sacrifice is tied to the neck, and the buttocks are laid upon the head of a mentat. May the Urti goddess grant such gifts unto me, when my tears start from me as I see myself journeying at the divine festival of Tenna in Abydos. And the wooden fastenings which fasten the four doors above thee are in thy power within thy garment. Thy face is like that of a greyhound, which scenteth with his nose the place whither I go on my feet. The god Akau transporteth me to the chamber, and my nurse is the divine double lion god himself. I am made strong, and I come forth like him that forceth a way through the gate, and the radiance which my heart hath made is enduring. I know the abyss is thy name, I work for you, O ye spirits, 4,600,000, 1,200 are they, concerning the things which are there. I am over their affairs working 4 hours and days, in setting straight the shoulders of the 12 Tsar gods, and joining their hands of their company, each to each, the sixth, who is at the head of the abyss, in the hour of the defeat of the fiends. I have come there in triumph, and I am he who is in the halls or courtyards of the underworld, and I am he who is laid under tribute to Shu. I rise as the Lord of life through the beautiful law of this day, and it is their blood and the cool water of their slaughter, which make the union of the earth to blossom. I make a way among the horns of all those who make themselves strong against me, and among those who in secret make themselves adversaries unto me, and who are upon their bellies. I have come as the envoy of my Lord of Lords, to give counsel concerning Osiris. The eye shall not absorb its tears. I am the divine envoy of the house of him that dwelleth in his possessions. And I have come from Shechem to Anu, to make known to the Benu bird therein concerning the events of the underworld. Hail thou, Urkut, underworld, which hiddest thy companion, who is in thee, thou creator of forms of existence, like the god Khepera. Grant thou that Nebseni, the scribe and designer, to the temples of the south and of the north, may come forth to see the disk, and that his journeyings forth may be in the presence of the great God, that is to say, Shu, who dwelleth in everlastingness. Let me journey on in peace. Let me pass over the sky. Let me adore the radiance of the splendour which is in my sight. Let me soar like a bird to see the companies of the spirits in the presence of Ra, day by day, who viveth every human being that walketh upon the regions which are upon the earth. Hail, Hemeti, runner, hail, Hemeti, who carriest away the shades of the dead and the spirits from earth. Grant thou unto me a prosperous way to the underworld, such as is made for the favoured ones of the God, because I am helpless to gather together the emanations which come from me. Who art thou, then, who consummates in its hidden place? I am the chief in Restau, and he that goeth in his own name, and cometh forth in that of Hehe, the Lord of millions of years, and of the earth, is my name. The pregnant goddess hath deposited upon the earth her load, and hath given birth to it straightway. The closed door which is by the wall is overthrown, it is turned upside down, and I rejoice thereat. To the mighty one hath his eye been given, and it sendeth forth light from his face. When the earth becometh light, or at daybreak, I shall not become corrupt, but I shall come into being in the form of the lion God, and like the blossoms of Shu. I am the being who is never overwhelmed in the waters. Happy ye, happy is he that looked upon the funeral couch, which hath come to its place of rest, upon the happy day of the God whose heart reseth, who maketh his place of alighting thereon. I am he who cometh forth by day, the Lord of the fire, which giveth life in the presence of Osiris. In very truth, the things which are thine are stable each day, O scribe, artist, child of the Sheshet chamber, Nebseni, Lord of veneration. I clasp the sycamore tree. I myself am joined unto the sycamore tree, and its arms are opened unto me graciously. I have come, and I have clasped the Uchat, and I have caused it to be seated in peace upon its throne. I have come to see Ra when he setteth, and I absorb into myself the winds which arise when he cometh forth, and both my hands are clean to adore him. I have gathered together all my members. I have gathered together all my members. I soar like a bird, and I descend upon the earth, and mine eye maketh me to walk thereon in my footsteps. I am the child of yesterday, and the Akaru gods of the earth have made me to come into being, and they have made me strong for my moment of coming forth. I hide with the god Ahai, who will walk behind me, and my members shall germinate, and my coup shall be as an amulet for my body, as one who watcheth to protect my soul, and to defend it, and to converse therewith, and the company of the gods shall hearken unto my words. Chapter 64, the short version. The chapter of knowing the chapters of coming forth by day in a single chapter. The overseer of the house of the overseer of the seal, Osiris Nu triumphant, begotten of the overseer of the house of Amenhotep triumphant, saith, I am yesterday and today, and I have the power to be born a second time. I am the divine hidden soul, who createth the gods, and who giveth celestial meals to the divine hidden beings in the underworld, in Amenti, and in heaven. I am the rudder of the east, the possessor of the two divine faces, wherein his beams are seen. I am the Lord of those who are raised up from the dead, the Lord who cometh forth from out of the darkness. Hail ye two divine hawks, who are perched upon your resting places, and who hearken unto the things which are said by him. The thigh of the sacrifice is tied to the neck, and the buttocks are laid upon the head of Amentet. May the Urarti goddesses grant such gifts unto me, when my tears start from me as I look on. I know the abysses is in thy name. Work for you, O ye spirits who are in number 4,601,200, and they are in height 12 cubits. Ye travel on joining the hands, each to each. But the 6th hour, which belongeth at the head of the Tuat, underworld, is the hour of the overthrow of the fiend. I have come there in triumph, and I am he who is in the hall or courtyard of the underworld, and the 7 come in his manifestations. The strength which protecteth me is that which have my spirit under its protection, that is the blood, and the cool water, and the slaughterings which abound. I open a way among the horns of all those who would do harm unto me, who keep themselves hidden, who make themselves adversaries unto me, and those who are upon their bellies. The eye shall not eat or absorb the tears of the goddess Urkert. Hail, goddess Urkert, open thou unto me the enclosed place, and grant thou unto me pleasant roads, whereupon I may travel. Who art thou, then, who consumest in the hidden places? I am the chief in Restau, and I go in and come forth in my name of Hehe, the Lord of millions of years and of the earth. I am the maker of my name. The pregnant one hath deposited upon the earth her load. The door by the wall is shut fast, and the things of terror are overturned and thrown down upon the backbone of the Benu bird by the 2 Semite goddesses. To the mighty one hath his eye been given, and his face emitteth light when he illumineth the earth. My name is his name. I shall not become corrupt, but I shall come into being in the form of the lion god. The blossoms of Shu shall be in me. I am he who is never overwhelmed in the waters. Happy, yeah, happy is the funeral couch of the still heart. He maketh himself to alight upon the pool, and verily he cometh forth therefrom. I am the Lord of my life. I have come to this place, and I have come forth from Re-Aurt, the city of Osiris. Verily, the things which are thine are with the Suri deities. I have clasped the sycamore tree, and I have divided it. I have opened a way for myself among the secure gods of the Tuat. I have come to see him that dwelleth in his divine Urias face to face, and eye to eye, and I draw to myself the winds which rise when he cometh forth. My 2 eyes are weak in my face, O lion god, babe, who dwellest in Uten. Thou art in me, and I am in thee, and thy attributes are my attributes. I am the god of the inundation, Ba, and Quem-Urshi is my name. My forms are the forms of the god Khepra, the hair of the earth of Tem, the hair of the earth of Tem. I have entered in as a man of no understanding. And I shall come forth in the form of a strong spirit, and I shall look upon my form, which shall be that of men and women, forever and forever. Chapter 65 of Conquering Enemies. The chapter of coming forth by day and of gaining the mastery over enemies. The overseer of the house, of the overseer of the seal, Nu, saith, Ra sitteth in his habitation of millions of years, and he hath gathered together the company of the gods with those divine beings whose faces are hidden, who dwell in the temple of Khepra, who eat the god Ba, and who drink the drink offerings which are brought into the celestial regions of light, and conversely grant that I may take possession of the captives of Osiris, and never let me have my being among the fiends of Suti. Hail! Let me sit upon his folds in the habitation of the god Usaba, and grant thou that I may sit upon the throne of Ra, and let me have possession of my body before the god Seb. Grant thou that Osiris may come forth triumphant over Suti, and over the night watchers of Suti, and over the night watchers of the crocodile, yea, the night watchers of the crocodile, whose faces are hidden, and who dwell in the divine temple of the king of the north, in the apparel of the gods, on the 6th day of the festival, whose snares are like unto everlastingness, and whose cords are like unto eternity. I have seen the god Abatkar placing the cord the child is tied with, fetters, and the rope of the god Abkar is drawn tight. Bits missing. Behold me, I am born, and I come forth in the form of a living coup, and the human beings who are upon the earth ascribe praise unto me. Hail Mer, who doest these things for me, and who art put an end to by the vigour of Ra. Grant thou that I may see Ra. Grant thou that I may come forth against my enemies. And grant thou that I may be victorious over them in the presence of the sovereign princes of the great God, who are in the presence of the great God. If repulsing me thou dost not allow me to come forth against my enemy, and to be victorious over him before the sovereign princes, then may Hapi, who liveth upon law and order, not come forth into heaven, now he liveth by Mart, and may Ra, who feedeth upon fish, not descend into the waters, and then verily shall Ra, who feedeth upon law and order, come forth into heaven, and then verily shall Hapi, who feedeth upon fish, descend into the waters, and then verily the great day upon the earth shall not be in its season. I have come against my enemy, he hath been given unto me, he hath come to an end, and I have gotten possession of him before the sovereign princes. Chapter 65 of Conquering Enemies. The chapter of coming forth by day and of gaining the master over enemies. Hail thou, who shinest from the moon, and who sendeth forth light therefrom. Thou comest forth among thy multitudes, and thou goest round about. Let me rise, or as others say, let me be brought in among the spirits, and let the underworld be opened unto me. Behold, I have come forth on this day, and I have become a Khu, or a shining being. Therefore shall the Khus let me live, and they shall cause my enemies to be brought to me in a state of misery, in the presence of the divine sovereign princes, the divine Ka, double, of my mother, shall rest in peace because of this. And I shall stand upon my feet, and have a staff of gold, or as others say, a rod of gold, in my hand, wherewith I shall inflict cuts on the limbs of mine enemy, and shall live. The legs of Sothis are stablished, and I am born in their state of rest. Chapter 66 of Coming Forth by Day. The chapter of Coming Forth by Day, the scribe Mahu saith, I have knowledge. I was conceived by the goddess Sekhet, and the goddess Neith gave birth to me. I am Horus, and I have come forth from the eye of Horus. I am Uatchit, who come forth from Horus. I am Horus, and I fly up, and perch myself upon the forehead of Ra, in the bows of his boat, which are in heaven. Chapter 67 of Opening the Underworld. The chapter of Opening the Underworld, the overseer of the house, of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant saith, the chamber of those who dwell in Nu is opened, and the footsteps of those who dwell with the God of light are set free. The chamber of Shu is opened, and he cometh forth, and I shall come forth outside, and I shall advance from my territory. I shall receive, bits missing, and I shall lay firm hold upon the tribute in the house of the chief of his dead. I shall advance to my throne, which is in the boat of Ra. I shall not be molested, and I shall not suffer shipwreck from my throne, which is in the boat of Ra, the mighty one. Hail thou that shinest and givest light from Henshi. Chapter 68 of Coming Forth by Day. The chapter of Coming Forth by Day, the overseer of the house, of the overseer of the seal, Nu, triumphant saith, the doors of heaven are opened for me, the doors of earth are opened for me, the bars and bolts of Seb are opened for me, and the first temple hath been unfastened for me by the god Petra. Behold, I was guarded and watched, but now I am released. Behold, his hand had tied cords round me, and his hand had darted upon me in the earth. Rehent hath been opened for me, and Rehent hath been unfastened before me. Rehent hath been given unto me, and I shall come forth by day into whatsoever place I please. I have gained the mastery over my heart. I have gained the mastery over my breast. I have gained the mastery over my two hands. I have gained the mastery over my 2 feet. I have gained the mastery over my mouth. I have gained the mastery over my whole body. I have gained the mastery over sepulchral offerings. I have gained the mastery over the waters. I have gained the mastery over the air. I have gained the mastery over the canal. I have gained the mastery over the river and over the land. I have gained the mastery over the furrows. I have gained the mastery over the male workers for me. I have gained the mastery over the female workers for me in the underworld. I have gained the mastery over all the things which were ordered to be done for me upon the earth, according to the entreaty which ye spake for me, saying, Behold, let him live upon the bread of Seb, that which is an abomination unto me. I shall not eat, nay, I shall live upon cakes made of white grain, and my ale shall be made of the red grain of Hapi. In a clean place shall I sit on the ground beneath the foliage of the date palm of the goddess Hathor, who dwelleth in the spacious disk, as it advanced to Anu, Heliopolis. Having the books of the divine words of the writings of the god Thoth, I have gained the mastery over my heart. I have gained the mastery over my heart's place, or breast. I have gained the mastery over my mouth. I have gained the mastery over my two hands. I have gained the mastery over the waters. I have gained the mastery over the canal. I have gained the mastery over the river. I have gained the mastery over the furrows. I have gained the mastery over the men who work for me. I have gained the mastery over the women who work for me in the underworld. I have gained the mastery over all the things which were ordered to be done for me upon earth and in the underworld. I shall lift myself up on my left side, and I shall place myself on my right side. I shall lift myself up on my right side, and I shall place myself on my left side. I shall sit down. I shall stand up, and I shall place myself in the path of the wind, like a guide who is well prepared.